everybody, welcome to the first video game ideas video. This will be for, obviously, Devil May Cry 5, which is one of my all-time favorite games. But it will not be for the story of the main game, but mainly just for, basically... Now, please note, this is no disrespect to people at Capcom and all that stuff. These are just personally some ideas that I had for a very, very long time. And also talking with some friends and stuff like that. This will be a mixture of some stuff that I really would love to see, and I would have loved it to be more for the fans than it was, personally. Now, do note that there will be some concept art, some editing behind the scenes. I will be using Share Factory, so if the editing quality is not the best, I am just starting, so please, 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 cut me some slack. But yeah, let's get this video on the way. So, first, we'll also be using footage from Virgil's campaign, just a little bit, and whatever, I screwed up that sentence. What other footage I can gather to really edit it and make it work, best of ways. Now, if it doesn't really work for you, that's fine. You can leave a like, comment, any ideas, but stuff. But yeah, the Virgil campaign I could see ending, or actually having a cutscene near before the end would be this cutscene right here. But that is not all I have an idea-wise for Special Edition, but because of, if you have not played the game, I will be skipping this, but if you have, you get a rough idea. First, features that I would love to, and would have liked to see would have been, obviously, multiple playable characters, being besides the main trio of Dante, Nero, V. And the addition of Virgil of Special Edition was cool, but personally felt very rushed and did not have a lot of variety in those things. He is hella OP, but he is also missing a lot of things that I would have liked to add, and I think he could have had one or two new weapons to really add on to that fire. But with the Virtual campaign, I could see it having two parts to it. Of like you can play the normal story mode like this and try the character out in playing the similar same missions, or playing his actual story mode, which would be pushing square near the mission select instead of triangle, or pushing X maybe, because you switch between what's called by pushing square. So who knows? I have to think about that later. But Virgil would probably play similar to the way he plays in this, but a few added additions. Yes, you would have your doppelganger and stuff like that, but he would have other weapons and also other moves, which would be pretty cool. And also there would be two actually new difficulties, maybe, I don't, being Legendary Dark Knight, which is obvious to say the least, and then you would have a other difficulty which I came up with, but I'm gonna be brutally honest, I'm doing this off script and I forgot the name of it. Which is pretty embarrassing in retrospect, but oh well. I do know the functions of the difficulty, to be honest. It would basically add brand new patterns. Sorry about the that was basically me turning off the fan in here. Mainly, I would be sorry for some of the background noise. I'm trying to record this, but it's very hard to do that. But regardless, there'd be a lot of new features and a lot of cool elements that would be added. Not just to a Virgil campaign, but also just the cool stuff to it. The Virgil campaign, mostly I see it being played in multiple ways. It would have multiple missions, but it would be from the point of Devil May Cry 1, where you basically, lack of a better word, get vaporized almost, or teleported once you're defeated by Dante. When Dante fights, he would basically kind of fight similar to Virgil, like when he uses his, what's it called? It would be kind of very crude, and it would kind of, you would be playing as Virgil, and it would be similar in aesthetic-wise to the scene where, from Jill Valentine's perspective from Resident Evil 3 Remake. So, yeah, and it would be very interesting. After that point, there'd be multiple, like, there'd be the same amount of missions, but there'd be a few new bosses, and it would also explain how Virgil got Beowulf back, which bugs the hell out of me how he got it back. You would basically have a demon you would have to fight that apparently maybe a Dante lost it a few years after he fought Virgil in Hell, and it basically, maybe he didn't sell Beowulf, it just landed in Hell, and it was basically lost in a rift in a fight that Dante had with a demon, because that happens a lot in the series. He always manages to. But basically, between the 20-something missions, I think it's 20 or 21, I don't know, you would have in-between parts. So it would be similar to the main campaign, but there'd be a little bit of differentiation. And there would also be, for the main campaign, there would be new characters you could play as, which would be a new prologue part that's optional with between Dante and Lucia. One of the main complaints with Devil May Cry 5 was that you had to wait to play as Dante very much later in the game. Had to fix that, making an optional bit. You would play as Dante, and it would be similar to the I think there was like a prequel novel beforehand, and it would basically be similar to that. You have the option to play as Dante or Lucia, and with their own set of trophies and stuff, but it would only be for this one mission. And I know that sounds pretty crappy, but I think, no, I can take that back. Maybe you get this prologue mission, and then maybe near the end of the game, if you basically manage to get all the S ranks, or up, like, do Lucia's prologue mission on a certain difficulty, maybe you'll unlock the extra mode for it. Maybe, I don't know. There's like another level that you get to play as her near the end, like after the main campaign. Maybe, I don't know. I'm still trying to work that out and trying to figure it out. But regardless, with the other characters, they would be Trish and Lady, which we will be bringing them back because why not? Mainly, you will have, they will be similar in aspect to how they played in Devil May Cry 4, a little. Trish would have, some of her weapons, like she had, we're gonna change up some stuff, and mainly for the story, and there would be 4 missions, that are optional. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And a lot of cool, we're going to bring back a lot of interesting weapons and also change up the gameplay just a little bit for each character. Back to Virgil, because I want to talk about a bit more about his campaign. After he's defeated, he wakes up in hell, and his armor is completely gone, but you do see he does have the cloak, so he uses that to cover himself and makes his way through the underworld. And it's going to be very interesting because this kind of sets up his reasoning for why he does what he does in 5, and also gives a very motivating, and I'm also pulling a little bit from the DMC remake, because that's the only one that gave him his own DLC. But I'm thinking, why not take from that, but do it better? But yeah, Virgil would probably have a lot of interesting missions that are kind of like similar to the main campaign, where there would be missions that are split between Urizen and V. Those would be the similar. Those would be after he separates himself in his own story. Because yes, we are keeping that. But I want to have a bit where you get to experience and see how it is that both, like, you would have a bit of like divisions tied from Visions V, and also you would have a bit from, well, Urizen's plot would probably be setting up how he grows to power so quickly and defeated a lot of demons, and also recruited a few others. And I know that, yeah, he already knows about the Clyde Blood Fruit, and that's his main goal, but I thought, let's set that up a little better. But regardless, playing as Urizen would probably be like a mixture of his fight in this game with the last stage, and also throwing in some new moves, and maybe kind of change stuff up. I don't really know. I would have to get some concept art on the screen, but yeah. Regardless, and when it comes down to it, I think that the Virgil campaign has the potential to be pretty cool and tie in the gaps in ways that, you know, I highly recommend, like, going into, like, finding Virgil's, like, character explained, or, like, you know, going into, like, more in depth into his character, because that's what I used for a little bit of inspiration when helping to try to write it and figure it out. But he's not just like he's not just Dante's brother. He's really, he's one of those characters that's just overly powerful, but he's also a tragic character. And I think, like, writing the DLC has the potential to be, like, story-wise, it was the biggest disappointment to me for Special Edition that he didn't have really his own DLC. Yes, he had, like, some new cutscenes with Dante, and he got to fight Dante, which was pretty cool in retrospect, as a boss fight, which we will be keeping that with the main campaign. We are not getting rid of that. But we also will be throwing in a Nero boss fight that is similar to the Urizen one. You are meant to lose, regardless. Because I wanted to keep it in with the canon, and also just kind of like throw in there, yes, it will probably be a very hard boss fight to really nail down, but it's not in the realm of not being possible. And I think it would be interesting. In regards to the campaign, we will be throwing in some new bosses, and also some interesting elements, like a flashback bit of Virgil as a kid, similar to Dante's Awakening mission with his introduction. But it will be from Virgil's point of view. It'll be first person, and you will, at first, and then like you play as kid Virgil from the moment like he's trying to find his mother and his brother, and then it goes in real depth of how tragic the death of he thought of, was. But not only that, but you also get maybe something you didn't get in the why he, kind of went his own way. You also see or hear Mundus, making fun of him and some other stuff, like maybe taunting the fun of his enemy. And I think that would throw in some unique elements there that I think we really forgot to see before. In regards to, like a lot of the elements that I've talked about here, this will be a multiple part series. I have a lot of ideas, and I also have a few concept art of my own, but also I'll be using a bit of concept art from Capcom themselves, and credits, of course, to them. So yeah, this is going to be part 1. Sorry for some of the rambling bits and not going fully in depth, but I don't have this scripted, so this is just me, base thoughts, cool elements, la-di-da-di-da. So yeah, this will be part 1 of maybe 3 or 4 parts. Who knows? I'll actually might get some gameplay recorded at some point, and maybe record some audio with it, and I might even do a walkthrough of the games and see what you guys think. I'm not really going in with the missions for that reason alone, but yeah, hope you guys enjoy, if you guys like it, and want to see a fully in-depth of what my plans are, because I have some pretty cool ideas for not only just that, but gameplay for some of the characters, like Trish. I love Trish. I just really do not like her gameplay in 4, and I really hate that she has a copy of Dante's guns. Even if it's different names, we're changing the design and some of the functions and a lot of stuff. And Lady, she was okay, she worked. We're just changing some things and making it more smooth and some pretty cool stuff. I have some cool ideas, but yeah, we will be doing something interesting here. Hope you guys like it. Yeah, bye-bye.